I think for sure she's dead. It's just how it happened, you know. And, yeah, you know, your imagination over the years just runs, you know, right through you, what could have happened to her and that. But the best you could hope is sort of like it happened fast.
Well, more than 30 years ago, a typical Port Macquarie family relocated to Sydney in the hope that the move would bring the family's father a greater chance of stable employment. Well, that father went to his grave, tragically regretting the day he made the fateful decision to move from the Hastings. His 14-year-old daughter went missing in Sydney, and to this day she's not been seen or heard from. It's believed the young teenager, Tanya Farrington, may have snuck out of her Crow's Nest home way back in 1979. But beyond a possible meeting with a mystery boyfriend in Manly, there is a frightening lack of clues as to what ever became of Tanya, a local girl who'd be 46 years old this year. Tonight we speak with Tanya's only surviving immediate family member, her brother Tony Farrington, who hopes someone from the Port Macquarie area will come forward with information which may lead to a breakthrough in his sister's disappearance. Tony, thanks so much for talking to me tonight. I've spent some time looking through the papers relating to Tanya's disappearance, and what strikes me so hard is the complete lack of clues in your sister's case. It really does seem like she's vanished without a trace.
How you going, Tim? That's more or less what happened, mate. She disappeared without a trace.
Can you tell us a little bit about Tanya? What kind of girl was she, and did she have troubles or a history of disappearing?
Like most girls, you know, she had arguments with her parents and that. Mm-hmm. And she was a lot older looking than she was in maturity and size and appearance. And so, you know, she started to wonder, once we hit Sydney, she wanted to start going out at night and that, you know. And of course my parents wouldn't allow her because she was too young. So we found out down the track a bit that she had been sneaking out to meet friends and eventually a boyfriend, mm-hmm. and sneaking back home while we're all still asleep.
I've seen photos of Tanya. She does look significantly older than 14 years of age. Was she beyond her years personality-wise as well?
Oh, definitely, yeah, in attitude, conversation, and but she could get in the pubs at 14. There's no problem about that. But like most girls like that, you know, deep down she was still, you know, a little baby.
Oh, she was only 14, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know too much at 14. Were you the older or younger brother?
I was the older. I'm 4 years older.
What type of relationship did you have? Did she share things with you about, you know, the fact that she was going out and exploring Sydney, as it were? Because it was really a case of country girl coming, or country family coming to the city, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. She probably shared most things with me up until the last year of her disappearance. I guess she wouldn't tell me nothing because she knew I'd get cranky about it. So, you know, because I was always keeping my eye on her and, you know, upping her for, you know, some of the people she was hanging with. And, probably the last year before she disappeared, she wouldn't have told me next to nothing.
Because she was frightened that you were the protective older brother, so to speak.
That was it. I found all this out years later from some of her friends and that, and it sort of cuts you now, you know. She thought a lot of me, and at the time, you know, when you're 18, you don't really think like that, but I found out years later she thought a lot of me, so...
Well, Tony, you were just doing your job by the sound of it, older brother. Listen, according to police, they're aware that a few months before Tanya disappeared, she'd failed to return home overnight, and was then found with her boyfriend on Manly Beach, I believe it was, the following morning.
Yeah.
Is it correct that your parents, when they were alive, and yourself, never learnt the identity of Tanya's boyfriend?
No, well, that is the guy where we have been trying to track down.
So, as I say, he's the key, but interestingly you're saying that there's not necessarily any suspicions attached to this person.
Oh, well, you know, who knows, but, you know, from my point of view, no, I don't think so. I think he was just a guy, you know, taking Tanya out, and he just didn't know how young she was.
How did you discover that Tanya had disappeared?
It was a Friday morning, and we woke up, and Mum went to her bedroom. Said, has anybody seen Tanya? And, you know, nobody had. Her bed hadn't been slept in. She took next to no possessions. She left a good watch there, and it was not as if it was a runaway where she took some stuff. It's a long time ago, Tim, but it was a few days later when I really started to worry. Because even though she was playing up in that, we were still a close family, She loved Mum and Dad, and we all loved each other, and I knew she wouldn't do it to Mum and Dad. For one night, maybe, but, second, third, fourth night, I just knew she wouldn't do it, so I really started to worry after that. Oh, it was haze, Tim. We were working, and Dad was knocking off work and running around looking for her, and Mum was, gradually every hour starting to freak out more, and, it was just, it's all a big blur now, and it all blurs into days and weeks and years.
And it has been more than 30 years now.
Yeah, it's 31 years this month, in 2 weeks' time.
I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but it is on the public record already. You've certainly experienced more than your fair share of tragedy in your life. You lost your sister, and in a sense, you probably also lost your parents to grief after she disappeared. Later, your mother was injured and left brain damaged after being hit by a car. Your father cared for her, and in the years that have passed, they've both died without that closure about their daughter, without knowing whatever became of their child. Is there any way you can describe what life is like for families who have to deal with that torture, the emotional torture of having a loved one who's listed as a missing person?
We met a lot of, not actually met, but, found out a lot of people who have gone through this, hundreds of people. And it's a universal thing, you find out most of the people, it's destroyed their families, and people got into alcohol and drugs, and, one person missing, might, affect so many people.
Did your parents ever recover from that loss?
No, especially not Mum. No, she didn't. It sort of destroyed her. That was a little girl. Dad was strong, he had that, he was a tough sort of bloke. He had the attitude, you got to keep on working, and we'll keep on looking for her, and,
he never gave up, did he, Tony? He never gave up.
No, he never gave up.
He was out there actively looking for her, wasn't he?
Yeah, he used to walk the streets and walk around with photos of her and all sorts of places, just on the off chance, and and always, you're people that had people missing, you're always scanning crowds for faces and that. After years and years, you stop doing it, and then it might start again, you start doing it again.
So you still do that from time to time?
Yeah, from time to time, yeah.
Do you have any personal theories about what may have become of Tanya?
I think for sure she's dead. Your sibling, she wouldn't do that to you. It's just how it happened, and your imagination over the years just runs, right through you, what could have happened to her and that. But the best you could hope is sort of like it happened fast.
Yeah. Do you believe there is someone out there who knows something about this?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. And probably not even the people who did whatever they did to Tanya, but people talk and gossip, and there's people who probably know somebody who knows something about it or who did it. Basically, we want to know if there's a chance of finding her remains somewhere, and I'm over trying to find revenge or court cases or locking somebody up, because I suppose these sort of people haven't lived a really good life themselves, and anyway. But that's the main thing I want to find out, where remains are, and that's what I've been appealing for. If somebody could just give some information, there's ways to do it without being traced, where we might find her remains, because it's just run through my mind all these years that she's buried somewhere, probably along the coasts, under whatever, It's not where she belongs.
You know what, sometimes, Tony, in these cases, people hear rumours and they hear gossip. That kind of information is information that sometimes people aren't very willing to share because they think it's not helpful. But that's the type of information, particularly maybe up here in our area in Port Macquarie, that may actually open a door for police, isn't it?
That's exactly what I'm appealing for, Tim. It's 1,000,000 to 1 shot after 31 years. It sounds like a long time to me. It was yesterday. But just that chance of a bit of gossip and somebody heard something that somebody said. And like I said, I'm really, really not after revenge or even catching the people. If they got caught, yeah, that'd be great. It'd just be more stress for the whole family on top of it. I'm really not after revenge. I just want her remains. And it's not just for Tanya. There was heaps and heaps of girls and boys who went missing in Sydney around the same time as Tanya. And any of those people, it can't be all the same person who did all these things. Just somehow let the police or somebody know where they could find remains. They talk about having closure. There's never any closure until the day you die. But finding someone's remains that you can rebury and have a proper funeral is some sort of closure, I guess.
It's not much to ask, is it, really?